Hey there, my name is Shane Craddock, and this is the Inner Edge podcast, where I share a different take on how to lead and live a sustainable high-performance life. Over the course of different episodes, I'm going to challenge the belief that tension, stress, and struggle are essential to success and creativity. My experience is that there's an easier way, there's a better way, and indeed there's an essential way that we need to explore for the times that we live in. So let's go ahead, let's jump in and explore. Hi there. Two things happened this week that inspired this particular episode. Firstly, I just finished up my 3-day program, The Performance Edge. It's an in-person program where we kind of going to go deeper into, I suppose, what are the variables that improve your performance over time consistently. And as I was preparing for that particular program, I was reminded of a very powerful story about persistence and also the way that we mentally hold ourselves back. And I'll come back to that in a second. The second thing that happened, and it's something that I've been waiting for a few months now, is that my audiobook version of my best-selling book, Inspire Me, went live on Audible and Spotify. And so that's pretty cool. It's taken a bit of time to get it done, and I've kind of curated it a certain way to add some value to it. So that's on a personal level, it was a nice, exciting moment to see it go live. Let the baby out into the world. And both moments reminded me of something very simple, but very powerful, that the essential key to creating anything worthwhile is to keep moving forward, no matter what. And I think every creator, every leader, every doer faces internal resistance. Now you have external resistance, but then the worst one is the internal resistance. And the only way really is through motion, moving forwards. And the reality is that while we might want perfect conditions and universal acceptance, we don't get it. We don't need it all the time. We don't need it. We don't need anyone's approval. You just need to keep taking the next step. That's all. Even when you don't know the full line of steps or stones to jump on, what's the next step? Because momentum ultimately defeats fear, and motion dissolves doubt. Now, I'll go back to the story that I was reminded of in preparing for the Performance Edge. It's a story called The 1000 Demons. And the way that I heard the story was, there was a young monk, this is kind of a Zen story, who had heard of this incredible monastery at the top of one of these mountains in the Himalayas, where the stories go, you know yourself. And he took some time, a year, to get to this particular place. And when he got there, he met the abbot who looked after the monastery. And the abbot said, yes, indeed, there is actually a particular part of this monastery where if you can go through a room, you will become enlightened. And he said, it's called the Room of 1000 Demons. And the young monk said, well, okay, I'm in, let's go. And the abbot said, okay, that's fine. He said, but just be warned, many people who go into this room often don't make it through. And if they don't make it through, often they are kind of mentally damaged in a way. So he said, but I'll give you a piece of advice. And the young monk said, absolutely, what is it? And the abbot said, well, when you get into this room, 1000 demons are going to appear. They're going to kind of manifest your worst fears about yourself, about life. Every single thing that you've ever been afraid of, and worse, they will magnify. And no matter what they say to you, no matter what you see, no matter what you hear, my only advice to you is to keep walking forwards. So the young monk listened to that and said, okay, how hard can it be? Opened the door and in he went, complete darkness. And then all of a sudden, the demons started to appear one by one, each one more nasty and vicious than the previous one. And the noise became immense. He was shouting, things shouted at him like, you're worth nothing, you'll never succeed. Think about whatever your worst fear is. And they brought it out from the darkness into the light and magnified it in front of him. A large room, but he just kept on walking forward in the room, even though every part of his body wanted him to turn around and go back out the door he came in. And he kept walking, and the noise got louder. He felt incredible fear, stress, anxiety, insecurity, but he kept walking. And then he got towards what seemed like the other side of the room, and very quickly, all of the demons came together and manifested as one gigantic, fearful, or what's the word? Scary, the scariest demon you could ever imagine, right in front of him, huge, and a big head, and his jaw opened up as if it was going to swallow the young monk. And the young monk was never as afraid in his life, but he stepped forward into the mouth of the demon, and immediately the demon disappeared. The room brightened, became clear, and the door on the other side was right in front of him, and he pushed the door open and became enlightened. Now, that's the way I heard the story. I probably butchered it myself, but anyway, it won't stop me telling it. But the power of the story is we all have these inner demons that could be doubt, insecurity, criticalness, judgmentalism. I'm probably making up these words as I hear them. But you know yourself, it's basically the inner demons that we all face from that inner voice inside. But if we keep moving despite the demon, we will make progress. Momentum ultimately defeats fear. It doesn't necessarily remove the fear. It's feel the fear and do it anyway, as the saying goes. Now, every ambitious person that I know, whether they're running a company, leading a family, writing a book, or rebuilding a life or reinventing themselves, hit the same wall. The demon inside can whisper, who do you think you are? Or you're not good enough, or this won't work. I'm very familiar with those demons because I think we all have 1,000 demons, or maybe even more, that we meet on the path of creation, on the path of life and business and work. Now, when I first wrote my book, Inspire Me, the idea actually came in quite easily. I had started writing my weekly email called Inspire Me, which was a short email. It started in 2008 in the middle of the Great Recession. I thought, what can I do to inspire people? And I started a short weekly email, and amazingly, it's still going and it's reaching people all over the world. Maybe even you as you're listening to it. But the idea for the book then came easy because I said, oh, well, the emails are working well. Let's create a book. But the process wasn't that easy at all. You know, I often would listen to the demons without realizing that I was. I'd stop. I'd second guess myself. The demons would get bigger. But eventually I just kind of kept going. But it did take longer than I probably should have had. And then eventually I finished and I started looking for a publisher. Wasn't really getting the bites that I wanted. If you're ever tried to publish a book, you'll know that part of the game is rejection. And this was new to me, and I found it really tough. I took things personally, demons magnified. And then out of the blue, a friend offered to show it to a top North American publisher that they had a relationship with because they had brought out books with this particular publisher. And so I gave him my manuscript. This person looked at it in the US, very respected, big organization, but they came back with a very short, sharp verdict. Oh, this isn't going to work. It'll never work. And that stung, I got to be honest. My ego was hurt. The demons grew, said, I told you it's not going to work. You're nothing. This is wasted time. And for a few days, I believed them. And then I probably got my own composure. And I just thought, Grant, screw it. I'll do it myself. And at the time, a new thing had come out called print on demand, or POD for short. It's more common now. So the likes of Amazon have bought up most of the main leaders in that area. And they kind of created then a thing called Kindle Direct Publishing, which allows you to print your own book. Incredible technology. But when I did it first, it had only just come out. There was a company called Create Space that I used. And I was one of the first, actually, as it turned out, in Ireland to probably use it because I was interviewed by journalists afterwards. But the reality is that I said it allowed me not to buy a huge amount of stock and have money in stock. Instead, I could actually set up this technology for a book to be printed off one at a time anywhere in the world. So you'd buy it online on Amazon, and literally we'd print it from nothing into one book, which is incredible. It still blows my mind. So I had more money, though, to put into PR and marketing to get the book out there. And actually it took off. And we blew the sales targets out of the world. So there was a bit of satisfaction probably from my ego saying, yeah, the guy who said it'll never work, well, you were wrong. Anyway, so that experience taught me something that I've seen echoed in every client I've ever worked with since. That the demons only win if you stop moving. And the demon's goal is to make you stop moving. Stop taking action. And I think if you think about, pushing a heavy car, like a car is stuck and maybe if you push it off the side of the road, the hardest part of pushing a heavy car is to get it moving, to get it rolling. But once it's moving, a little bit of push, momentum takes over. But if you stop for too long, all of the weight of that car then makes it much more difficult, takes more energy. And for us as humans, that's the weight of doubt and fear. And that can pile back on very quickly. So momentum actually negates that weight. So think about this from your point of view. Like, what's something that you really want to create, but maybe you don't yet know how? Or maybe you're waiting for this mythical creature on a white horse to come in and say, "You're amazing. Here's the way forwards." But that's not going to happen. It's very, very rare. And so think about maybe you're out of a project, or maybe there's an idea that just keeps whispering to you, but it also scares the bejesus out of you. And just consider, where might you have let your inner demons slow you down, or even stop you, or make you turn back out of the room like the monk, when maybe all you needed actually was feel the fear, acknowledge the demon, but you still keep taking one step forward, just one step forward, one step forward. And then when you take that step forward, another step forward. And so I suppose I feel grateful that I was able to push through. And despite the fact that my inner voice might go, well, that book took a long time, a lot of pain. There was similar stories for the inner CEO, but I learned a lot about how to kind of maybe raise the game, do it better. And that's what happens when you don't listen to the demons. You learn better, you perform better, but nothing's ever perfect. I mean, I'm still waiting for the mythical person on the white horse to write in and say, "Shane, here we go." But that I'm not waiting for it. I'm not really waiting for it. It'd be nice if it happens. If you're out there, I'm available. You know, you get on your white horse and come over and see me. But in the meantime, I'm still listening to demons, and my job is not to let them stop me taking action. And if anything, that's what I'm hoping. If you're listening to this, that you maybe will reignite some project or some passion or some focus, and keep moving, take that step forwards, and maybe also perhaps share this episode with somebody, because in my experience, everybody has those demons. And it means that if you're not aware of it and if you listen to them, then we're robbing the world of whatever gift that you probably have inside you to bring out, because we're all creators at some level. Before I close out with my little bumper sticker statement for you, just to kind of plug the book, Inspire Me, it's available on Spotify and now on Audible, as is The Inner CEO as well, just in case you like audio a lot. I find I enjoy audio myself a lot, and I had a lot of fun making Inspire Me because I added in elements into the book to kind of bring it up to date, and give my own. Having audio means you can actually add your own take on it, which is fantastic. So in terms of today, I suppose the thing that maybe I would love you to remember, wherever you are, is keep moving. You know, we all have demons, but the demons can't really catch a moving target. So be the moving target. That's it for this week. Ciao for now.